Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Imran Benaruddin Pahimi. My matrix number 17DSK21F1077. Today I will explain to you about personality. Okay. What is personality? Personality is the aggregate of persons' feelings, thinking, behavior and responses to different situations and people. Which means the way a person thinks about something that happens and what is his behavior towards that situation and his response to that situation. Some people will take the positive side and some will take the negative sides, depending on the individual's personality. Next is encompasses the relatively stable feelings, thought and behavior pattern a person has. Personality is relatively stable over time. There are individual differences in the patterns and magnitude of change. There is some evidence that personality change in adulthood is related to physical health and longevity. Next is give people an idea of how that person is likely to act, react and feel in variety of situations. Each of us has a unique personality that differentiates us from other people, and understanding someone's personality give us clues about their personality. Next is the sum total of ways in which an individual reacts and interact with other measurable traits a person exhibits. It is typically measured using self-reporting surveys. Personality seems to be the result of both hereditary and environmental factors. Heredity refers to factors determined at conception of physical stature, facial attractiveness, gender, temperament, muscle compositions, and reflexes and energy level. Next is this describe of the individual's self-image that influences a person's behaviors uniquely and dynamically. Self-image is an individual's knowledge of who he or she is. Self-image has three components, which is self-image, esteem, and idea self. Self-image is active, dynamic, and malleable. It can be influenced by social situations and even own motivation for seeking self-knowledge. Right now, I will explain to you guys about personal determinant. Personality determinants mean the factors that determine a person's personality, such as heredity, environment, situation, family, and social. The first one is heredity. Heredity is the characteristic that can be determined from the time of conception are usually placed under heredity. Gender, physical stature, temperament, muscle composition, facial features, height, and others are characteristics that are usually inherited from parents. Therefore, through the heredity approach, it is proven that genes located in chromosomes are the ultimate explanation of personality. Next is environment. Environmental factors such as upbringing, culture, geographic location, and life experiences greatly influence our personality. For example, a child raised in a harmonious environment may have a more positive and calm outlook and disposition. Next is situation. Every day an individual has to interact with numbers of situations which do not remain constant. An individual's personality generally stable and consistent but does change in different situations. Situation either encourages or discourages an individual to behave in a specific way. It consists of challenges, competition, encouragement, facilities, risks, uncertainties, participations, relations, and leadership styles. That's all things that can affect a person's personality. Alright, move to the next one, family. At all stages of life, family plays a major role in influencing the personality of individuals either directly and indirectly. The different child training methods that are used to shape a child's personality and how the members communicate their interests, attitude, and values directly influence personality. If parents show too much strictness, children become dependent upon external control and even become impulsive when they are away from parents' influence. Children follow their parents and their personality traits become similar to their parents through imitation. For example, nervous, anxious, and serious parents also make their children nervous and they have sudden angry outbursts. Those children who live with warm, loving, intellectual parents become social and wholesome personalities. Alright, the last one is social. The social determinants examine an individual's personality in light of their position within their social group or community and consider how they see their place. The primary consideration in this method is that how others perceive us affect how we develop as people. As soon as we leave play school and enter the real world, the process begins when we interact with peers and friends among other people. We are constantly urged to choose our social circle carefully because it is one of the critical factors in personality that our social life influence. Through interactions, whether online or in person, can show a person's personality. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ardini Safia binti Mahfuz. My metric number is 17DSK 2151043, and I will be explaining about personality traits. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or also known as MBTI, is a personality test used to measure 4 characteristics and classify people into one of 16 personality types. It is a psychometric questionnaire which was designed to measure psychological preferences about how people perceive the environment of the world and make decisions for specific kind of jobs. MBTI is useful in team development, leadership development, interpersonal skill development, conflict management, stress development, and so many others. There are 6 personality types key. They are extroverts, introverts, intuitive, sensors, thinkers, feelers, judges, and perceivers. Extroverts. Extroverts are energized by people, enjoy a variety of tasks, a quick pace, and are good at multitasking. Intuitives. Intuitives prefer to focus on possibilities and the big picture, easily see patterns, value innovation, and seek creative solutions to problems. Thinkers. Thinkers tend to make their decisions using logical analysis, objectively weigh pros and cons, and value honesty, consistency, and fairness. Introverts. Introverts often like working alone or in small groups, prefer a more deliberate pace, and like to focus on one task at a time. Sensors. Sensors are realistic people who like to focus on the facts and details. They apply common sense and past experience to find practical solutions to problems. Feelers. Feelers tend to be sensitive and cooperative and decide based on their own personal values and how others will be affected by their actions. Judges tend to be organized and prepared, like to make and stick to plans, and are more comfortable following most rules. Perceivers. Perceivers prefer to keep their options open, like to be able to act spontaneously, and like to be flexible with making plans. Next is characteristics and descriptions of the individual. There are 16 types of personality types, but how can we determine which is our personality? We can determine our personality type by using the 4 questions. The first question is, are you outwardly or inwardly focused? It is to determine whether we are an E, extroversion, or I, introversion person. The second question is, how do you prefer to take an information? It is to determine whether we are a S, sensing, or an intuitive person. The third question is, how do you prefer to make decision? Is to determine whether we are a T, or thinking, or F, feeling person. The last question is, how do you prefer your outer life? Is to determine whether we are a judging person or perceiving person. Then you will know what is your personality type based on your own answers. However, it is better to take a proper questionnaire from a professional, for example, a psychologist. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Syadatul Amani binti Muhammad Ismail and my metric number is 17DSK 21F 1057. So for my part is today the Big 5 model of personality. So the model of personality we have openness to experience, second extroversion, third conscientiousness, and the fourth one agreeableness, and the last one is neuroticism. So for the first point is openness to experience. Openness to experience is described a dimension of cognitive style that discourages imaginative, creative people from down to earth, and convention to people. Open people are intellectually curious, appreciative of art, and sensitive to beauty. They tend to be, compared to closed people, and more aware of their feelings. That is extroversion. Extroversion is the state of or tendency toward being predominantly concerned with and obtaining gratification from what it is outside the self. A personality trait or style characterized by a preference for or orientation to engaging socially with others. For the next point is conscientious. What is the meaning of conscientious? Being a conscientious person entitles the ability to set and keep long-term goals. Being more deliberate about choices, act more conscientiously, and take your obligations seriously. The next one is agreeableness. In summary, agreeableness is a personality trait that describes a person's ability to put others' needs before their own. Being empathetic, finding pleasure in helping others and working with people who need and more help is a particular strength of highly agreeable individuals. Last but not least, neuroticism. Neuroticism is the trait disposition to experience negative effects including anger, anxiety, self-consciousness, irritability, emotional instability, and depression.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Zawri Ifa binti Sarwan. My matric card number is 17 DSK 21F1047. I am going to talk about values. Value is a mode of conduct or end state where personally or socially preferable. Value broad preferences concerning appropriate courses of actions and outcome. Is an influence behavior and attitudes. Value also is a set of beliefs about particular things that we hold as important to us as individuals. From Cook and Hunsaker 2001, values are defined as a permanent belief or ideals held to be important that influences thought and behavior. Next is the importance of values. The first one is provide understanding of the attitudes, motivation, and behaviors of individuals and cultures. Second, influence our perception of the world around us. Third, represent interpretations of right and wrong. Fourth, imply that some behaviors or outcomes are preferred over others. Let's move to the types of values. There are two types of values, which is terminal values and instrumental values. The definition of terminal values is something has in itself independently of its relation to other things. From Audi 2004. For the example is love, happiness, and freedom. For the definition of instrumental values, it refers to the values that something has as a means to an end rather than as an end in itself. From Driver 2001, for the example is obedience, loyalty, helpfulness. The example of happiness is all human beings want to be happy. To achieve this terminal value, we try to make use of various instrumental values such as being loving, helpful, forgiving, and so on. For the example of freedom, we all wish to live accordingly to our own values without undue interference from others. Freedom is the final goal to many of us. Next, for the definition of instrumental values are the values that we hold because they help us get what we want rather than having them purely for their intrinsic value. The concept of instrumental and terminal values was coined by the sociologist Max Weber. He defined the former as means for the attainment of the actors on rationally pursued and calculated ends. For the example of honesty is, honesty has instrumental values to us. If we are honest on a regular basis, we will build trust and rapport with others, which is necessarily for building strong and healthy relationships. Plus, being honest means that we can be confident in ourselves and our actions without compromising our integrity. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Naamir Akila binti Azmi and my metric card number is F1017. So I will explain about the relationship of an individual's personality and values to the workplace. Personality traits and values are two dimensions on which people differ. Personality is the unique, relatively stable pattern of feelings, thoughts, and behavior that each individual displays. Big five personality dimensions, which is openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, are important traits. Others that are particularly relevant for work behavior include self-efficacy, self-esteem, social monitoring, and proactive personality. Next is the differentiate between personality and values. Personality is what we naturally do to understand people in organization. It is a pattern of thinking and feeling. Values is what we think we should do to understand the root to conflict, and it is a judgmental of what is important in life. For the conclusion, we understand people around us in organization, but at the same time, we have to control and influence their values as to ensure they will achieve goals without left the important elements in life. We have instilled the value and manipulates their personality. For example, if we have bundle of workers from various personality, we can manipulate their personality as to achieve goals in organization by practicing appropriate values. That's all from me. Thank you.